But, Rob, let's go to the NBA for now. And there was a story written, ESPN.com, Dave McMenamin, about LeBron is his next, Rob G, he's eyeing $500 million. His next deal with the Lakers, not one contract for $500 million, but his next deal with the Lakers could bring him to $500 million for his career.
No, so whether he opts in or opts out to this next year's salary, he's going to be the first player ever to cross the $500 million career earning mark.
So that's going to happen.
It's going to happen. He's at 482 right now, so no matter what happens next year.
First player in NBA history. Wow.
First player.
He only played 25 years.
Yeah, just wait till Jaylen Brown breaks that. That's going to be the next guy.
No, well, Jaylen's last deal was what, 3 something?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean,
so it's going to be the new norm.
It is what it is, yeah.
But it's just
congratulations.
Right. It's just
that's
time,
awesome
right?
for LeBron.
Right.
And, man, that's $500 million. And with his other businesses, so he's going to be in position to own an NBA team.
Tani laughs at LeBron. It's like, that's all you made? 20 years,
say,
huh?
Like, you picked him 21 years.
You know Rob couldn't wait to.
I was like, he got $700 million. He only been in the league 6 years. He got
How
700.
long is that contract?
700.
How long is that contract?
It's not 20 years.
No,
I'll tell you that
10
much.
years.
No,
it's 10.
10 years. Is
All
it
right.
only 10?
Yeah. It's 10 years, yeah.
All right. So, anyways, ESPN's David McMenamin and Bobby Marks co-wrote a story talking about LeBron's future and whether or not, the salary implications of him opting in, opting out, his extension, yada, yada, yada. Buried deep into the story was a note about LeBron James's psyche and how LeBron has privately been worried about whether or not Laker Nation would ever fully embrace him, given their history with Kobe Bryant, his quote-unquote rivalry with Kobe, and so on and so forth. So the guys note that it meant a whole heck of a lot to LeBron James the night that he cracked the 40,000-point mark, how much the franchise and, most importantly, the fan base seemed to embrace him that evening.
So the question is, do you feel like LeBron's a Laker? I mean, obviously he's a Laker right now, and he's been there now. This is his 6th year. But, Rob, I think that LeBron and a Kevin Durant, a lot of guys from this era, to be quite honest, Westbrook's been all over the place. He wanted to be loyal to OKC, but they traded him, and he's been all over the place. I don't think like they like LeBron will be viewed as a Cav. But Rob, I think that's really only because he's from Northeast Ohio.
I don't think it's just that.
If he was from Memphis and just got drafted by the Cavs, I don't know. I don't think he'd be viewed as, I guess maybe because that was his first team. Like, if you had to pick a squad for Durant, I don't know. Do you pick OKC or Golden State?
You pick Golden State.
Because he won there? Because he won 2 there? Well, Rob, LeBron only won 1 in Cleveland. He won 2 in Miami.
Yeah,
I think, Rob, if he was from, my quick statement, if he was from Memphis, Texas, wherever, and went to the Cavs as drafted, and his career went the way it has, I think he might be viewed more as a Miami Heat player because that's where he won 2 rings and
I don't think so.
Why would it be the Cavs?
I just think it's the Cavs. A lot of times, Chris.
Now it is because he's from there. But why? If he
but it's not.
There?
It's not even if he. When you're first drafted and he played there a while and he came back and they won a championship. It's about Cleveland because that's where he started and he became a star almost immediately. You know what I mean? In that place, and that's what people remember.
Durant did the same thing. He just didn't win.
But they just, I'm just saying in this case, I
do agree that now he's viewed as a Cav.
I don't believe that. I think the Miami thing was, while they won 2 championships, it was kind of a little controversial. Him and Pat Riley on the way out, it just didn't end like it was a happy thing on the back end of it, Chris. So that the Miami thing was good, but it wasn't as great as it could have been. So I think that there's a piece of that that doesn't make people think, oh, yeah, he was a Miami Heat. No, I don't think so.
I mean,
and
like
the Lakers,
I agree.
And the Lakers are back end. The Lakers are just the back end,
Yeah, I don't think of him as, I mean, we're speaking figures.
And he's going to wind up playing more years with the Lakers than any franchise, right? Yeah.
Well, the Cavs he was with for 11 years, 7 at first and then 4 when he went back.
Well, Chris, to piggyback off Rob's point, if LeBron gets this 3-year extension that's being rumored, he will have spent more consecutive years with the Lakers than any other team, including Cleveland.
Consecutive because
it'd be 8 years to 7.
Right. Which is crazy to think about it, yeah.
Yeah, and I think of him as a Cavs first and a Heat player second, and then a Laker.
I agree with that.
Because this hasn't, as great as LeBron's numbers have been with the Lakers, and obviously they won a championship, and last year they had a nice run to the conference finals. It hasn't been your typical LeBron James success, right? I mean, Cleveland, LeBron did some, even though he never won a ring the first go round, what he did as a young player, but coming right out of high school, averaging 20, leading that team to the finals over that really good Detroit team in 2007, having the 2 MVP years there and the great records, even though they didn't get to the finals his last 2 years there, and then going back and winning a championship. Like Cleveland, he did great things. Miami, obviously, he did great things. 4 straight trips to the finals, 2 MVPs, 2 championships. And as good as this Lakers run has been for him, Rob, it hasn't been your typical LeBron James run.
It's been bumpy.
Sure.
It's been bumpy, Chris. A couple times they didn't make the playoffs. A couple times LeBron was hurt.
Injuries.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of stuff, some drama. I mean, it wasn't. And my God, thank God he won that championship, because if he didn't win that bubble championship, this would have been a bust, like coming to LA.
But yeah, I always
what I
said,
mean?
if you go there, you better win, because other than Elgin Baylor, all the huge names that went,
you had to win, and he won, Chris, and that is going to help him. But you're right, it could have been a disaster, really could have, because going in, we weren't expecting them to win that one, but they did.
Right. I think for him to be, again, I don't think he would ever be viewed first and foremost as a Laker, but I think they'd have to win a bunch of championships, Rob, going forward.
And don't forget, when he first showed up,
start coming close to thinking of him as a Laker.
Right.
Win it this year, win it next year, or the following year. And I don't think that's going to happen. Rob G, you're a Lakers fan. So where are you at, on this? I mean, the fans fully embracing LeBron. I do feel and a lot of this is because LeBron's just been gone so many places that I think fans kind of view him as he's a rental.
Right.
I mean, kind of he's a rental because he's so great. He came here to win, and he's not really our guy, but he's great. We want him. We want to win, so we love him while he's here, but I don't know if they're fully giving themselves over to him because just the way his career is gone.
And don't forget, Rob G's people, and I mean Laker fans, Rob G. That's
got to be racist.
See, I knew he was going to say that. Rob G's people, they spray painted the LeBron murals when they first went up. Do you remember that?
Well, that was when he first got here.
No, I'm just saying. But Rob G, where are you on LeBron? You know what I always say about him when they make his statue.
Yeah, he's going to have the basketball in one hand and the suitcase in the other hand. That's one of your jokes that has aged very gracefully.
That's a good one.
It's aged very well.
No, it's one of your jokes that's actually funny.
Oh, okay.
You know what? I think that I have the pulse of Laker Nation, and I think I speak for them correctly when I say that we don't view him as a Laker or an all-time great Laker. He's always going to be a Cav. I think that because that's where he came up, because of that one championship in Cleveland, means more than any of the rings he has anywhere else. And also because Rob alluded to it, the LeBron experience has been very uneven.
Right.
He got here, and as much as excited as people were to have the best player in the league on your team, which seems to happen a lot for Laker fans. So the expectation was, well, all the other great players we had won championships. So the minimum is you got to get at least one. And once LeBron got here, he delivered the one, which was great. But everything other than that has been very up and down. A lot of drama, a lot of coach changes, teams kind of quitting midseason, it feels like at certain times. And so I don't think that Lakers fans as a group, I'm sure there's pockets here and there, but as a group, they're like, yeah, we got LeBron now. He helps us win. We like that, but he's not really our guy.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that's just, again, LeBron has traveled around the league.
No, that's
just
what
simple
it is.
as that. Right? I don't think fans are going to, fully give themselves over to him because you feel like, heck, there's talk now that he might leave. I don't think he will, but there's talk that he might leave the Lakers. That right there tells you why. It's like you're dating a woman that won't marry you. You gonna fully give your heart over to her if she won't just commit to you and get married and get the ring? So I just think that's, whether it's LeBron, whether it's Durant, whether it, guys that have been around the league at this point, Harden, Westbrook,
Kyrie's been on a ton of teams, Chris.
It's you think they're a great player and you're glad to have them, but are you going to just fully?
And it's funny. I don't think of Kyrie as a Cav. I don't think of him as. What team do you think of him, Chris? I really don't.
I'd say Cavs.
Really?
I would say Cavs. He was
I don't
drafted there. He won the. So that's interesting you said that. Now, I agree that it's not like, I don't think of him as a Cav like I think of LeBron as a Cav.
Yeah, I think LeBron differently because Kyrie didn't start out well when he was there.
Well, LeBron didn't make the playoffs the first 2 years when he was in Cleveland.
but they were. When they got swept by the Spurs, he put on a show against the Pistons.
That was his fourth year.
No, I know, but I'm saying, but Kyrie.
Think what you said about Kyrie, I think that supports my point that if LeBron wasn't from Northeast Ohio, I'm not sure he'd be viewed as a Cav. Yeah, because Kyrie hit, Rob, arguably the biggest shot in NBA history to give the Cavs their first championship. He was drafted number 1 by Cleveland. And how is he not viewed as a Cav? Why? Because he ain't from Cleveland.
No, it ain't just because of that. I just think he's been on like 10 teams. Kawhi Leonard's been on 10 teams.
Kyrie's been on Cleveland, Boston, Brooklyn, and Dallas. 4. LeBron's been on 3. You could kind of say 4 because if he went back to that's 4 iterations. But
yeah, right, 3 franchises, teams, 4. Right. All right, Rob G, you got some.
Just a quick one. I know we're up against it.
That's Rob's way of saying, you're right.
I think
that ain't it.
I think the Kawhi question was a good one for you, Rob. But in that line of think, because Kawhi's got a championship in San Antonio.
It's funny. I kind of think of Kawhi as a Spur.
Right. He's got the one in Toronto.
That's my first team. I think of him.
Is it really as simple as just where you win? Because a guy like Shaq played for like 7 teams, but everybody views him as a Laker.
No, but he
three-peated.
Right. So is that really what it comes down to? Is wherever you won the most, that's where we're gonna.
And in Orlando, no, because LeBron won more championships in Miami.
I think the fact that he's from Northeast, to me, Rob G, where you at on that?
With LeBron?
I think it's because he's from Cleveland.
And I say it's because the way it ended in Miami. I don't see him as like being even fully embraced there with Pat Riley, and you know what I mean? No, it didn't end right.
I think it was the return that cemented him as a Cav. That the whole I'm coming home and then he delivers on the promise, I think that made him, no matter what happens, he could play 15 years with the Lakers, he's going to be a Cav. Always.
Right. But I think a lot of that's because he's from Cleveland or, greater Cleveland.
He's from Akron, Chris. It's different. It's a difference between Cleveland and Akron.
No, I know it's a difference. But Akron's very close. Akron's like 30 minutes away. I worked in Akron and lived in Cleveland when I worked there.
Did you really?
Close. Yeah, it's that close.
Why'd you live in Akron? Because it was cheaper?
No, I lived in Cleveland. It was a suburb in Cleveland, Maple Heights, but I drove from there to.
Where did you live? What was that suburb? What was it?
Maple Heights. I lived in a few, but I was Maple Heights when I worked in Active Beacon Journal. But
is there in Cleveland? There's two suburbs. There's Shaker Heights, right?
Shaker Heights. I lived in Shaker Heights,
and then where the white people live is called Salt Shaker Heights, right? Is that right?
that was just. was sad. There's a Pepper Pike there too. You want to make a joke about that?
Alex, nothing. Alex, nothing.
I'm still thinking about it, Rob.
Don't give him anything. Rob.
Salt Shaker Heights, where the white people live.
I mean, I'm ready for Moby Dick again. You know.
Okay, all right.
I like the Louisiana Purchase myself. That's
I
one of
know.
my
I'm
favorites.
sorry.
Yeah. All right. And Moby Dick. And all that.
And Moby Dick,
All right.
the
Anyway.
And chocolate chips.
Chocolate.
Yeah.